Hey there everyone, it's Joe from Bullion Now, bullionnow.com.au, selling you the best bullion bars and coins, shipped to you worldwide from Melbourne in Australia. This is of course your weekly precious metals price analysis where we take a look at the big four: gold, silver, platinum and palladium. Head over to Bullion Now YouTube channel, youtube.com/Bullion Now. If you want to be part of the winning team, then hit the big red subscribe button to join the winning team, and then you'll be part of the winning team. What was it, 8,000, nearly 8,500 subscribers. Do you reckon we can push to 9,000 by the end of the year? Well, you never know. Stranger things have happened in the big city, but join us, be part of the family to get us up to that target. Okay, enough talking about other stuff. Let's talk about gold. Gold priced in US dollars, $1,838 currently. Let's see where we've come from. This is the more macro zoomed out version. You can see in the last week we had that bottoming down at well, let's just take it to the daily, shall we? Let's do it that way. That's even easier. All right, so we had in the last few days, as you can see, we had that bottoming at was it 1,765, I think it was, and since then a nice little healthy rise, although it is still, and this is where I'm going to put in my magical lines and all that sort of stuff right now, just like magic. As you can see, it's a definite area of resistance. So may it be an area of resistance for a little bit? That remains to be seen, but as you can definitely see, big area of support at 1850, now possibly becoming resistance right here. Let's just see if it continues to knock on the door for the next few days, then it's more likely to be taken out. So I'm definitely not saying going up from here, definitely not saying going down from here. This is probably going to be a pretty brief one on gold, because all my targets remain the same except for this 1751 now. So I am going to get rid of that, and then we'll talk about the next one moving down. So if, for example, this is a large area of resistance, and if we are continuing down further past the 1765 level, what would be the next level of next level of support, I should say, for me? Let's do what we did last week, and let's just track down. So that's definitely not going to be a spot. I would suggest round about, look, it's going to be a 1700 mark. I would suggest right about there is where, somewhere between, I'm going to say 1700. Let's pop it in right here. 1700, and you can see this little dip right there, and that was at approximately 1670. So if we were to break down further through the 1760 mark, then you'd be touching somewhere between 1700 and 1670. So kind of like a $30 range, right about there, if we are moving down further. And of course, if we are moving higher, I'll pop this back on the daily. On the daily time frame, which you can see is coming into slightly overbought territory. Doesn't mean you head straight down, but once it stays in overbought for a little bit, tend to have a bit of a sell-off. But if it's a fake out and we just continue higher, then the next level here, you can see I've had this in for a while, it's going to be at 1,880, and we'll talk about those ones later on. That's not going to happen in the next week, but this would be the next big level of resistance at around about 1880 is my humble opinion on that. So that's gold in US dollars. I won't do Australian dollars again, just for brevity's sake. Let's take a look at silver. We're in a similar kind of situation. This is here on the daily, where similar thing, we're in slightly overbought territory. Again, doesn't mean we're definitely heading down from here at all. And we're at a similar point. Remember, I've been talking about 2450 as a line in the sand. I needed to see the price move above and hold above 2450 for a period of time before I could confidently say, in my own opinion, not financial advice, that we're out of the woods and it's blue skies from here. We're not out of that yet, but we're so close. $24.18 roughly in US dollar terms. If we pull out to the weekly, let's take a look where we are there. Okay, well, as you can see, we had that big dip, of course, all the way down to 2170, and since a nice rise all the way back up to the 2450, roughly. Actually, let me, sorry, go back there. And yes, in the last few days, as you can see, yep, we had that off the 2170 all the way back up, very close to it, but it just hasn't pierced through just yet. Let's play the what if game. We didn't, my target here of 2130 wasn't reached when we had that little breakdown. So I'm going to suggest now that if we broke down, it wouldn't just break down to 2130, we'd be going to the next level. But that next level remains to be seen, because I want to check whether this, I would suggest that this little trend line right here could still be, actually, no, I'm going to call that a no. So if we break down further from here, my next level would be, and as you know, I do this on the fly. Next level, next slight level I think would be at your, no, your next big level I'm going to say would be your $19.70. If we're breaking through this sort of 2170, 2160 kind of level, your next big major level would be at your $19.70 mark. So that's my call moving down. If we move down further, big move down to 1970, and I need to break above this 2450 level in order for me to be confident that we're out of the woods. But I do need to really, the next major target I should say would be the big $26 level. If you don't know what I'm talking about the big $26 level, that's the huge level of support right here, going all the way through the big bull run. 2010, 2011, we had the peak in 2011, and then this was a major level of support. 1, 2, 3 huge levels of support. We never thought it was good when we were, back there looking at the price. Back then, looking at the price, we never thought it was, that 26, it's not going to break through 26, no chance, and bang. So a big level of support. It'll become a little bit of another level of resistance, even though we broke through it up here all the way up to 30. I think it would still be a slight level of resistance here, as you can see right there. So that would be the next level, which I would see it may have a little bit of a top out at if we break through in the next number of days in silver. That's my next short-term targets for silver up and short-term targets for moving down. Now let's talk about the one that you've probably been wanting to talk about or wanting to hear about. Platinum. Holy moly, look at this. Let's take a look at this on the weekly. It's just gone great guns in the last week. Let's say the last few weeks really. So coming off the low, let's say really started its proper run, I'd say around about here on roughly the start of November. We're about $850, and we've seen a huge rise all the way up past 1,000. Past that mark, it wasn't even a level of resistance, and about $1,080 so far, currently hovering $1,054 in US dollar terms. We are on the weekly time frame again, like gold and silver, in slightly overbought territory. Doesn't mean it couldn't go higher. If it was going to go higher from here, what you would see, even though we've had that little peak, you would see it possibly peaking up to this trend line right here. We came close to it, but didn't quite touch it. So that could still be in play, this trend line right there. If it does sell off a little bit, I'm not going to be concerned, because we've had such a decent rise in the last couple of weeks. So if we were to break down, where would we break down to? Go back to the weekly. And I'm going to call it at, that's a great question. Joe, where are you going to call it at? Let's see, breaking down further, I would say no lower than, I could see it breaking through there. I'm going to remove that line right here, and I'm going to suggest it's going to be around, there we go. Can you see that? Don't know if you just saw that. I just saw that. A previous level of resistance and support over a number of weeks. Can you see that? Right here. There, previous level of resistance and level of support, and it bounced off that for the weekly. So right about, let's just call it that, $955. is where, if we broke down from here, that's where I would see a level of support right there at 950. Let's call it 950, 955 in US dollar terms. Next target's moving higher if we break above this large trend line, downtrend line that is. Of course, we've been talking about it for a while. It's going to be your $11.95, $1,200 level. It's going to be the next level of resistance. Could we even potentially break through straight up to 1,200 in this week? Could that be a green candle all the way up? Yeah, absolutely. There's even the potential for it to be, all the way up to, in the next couple of weeks, all the way up to your 1,300, but that's less likely in my opinion. So I would say the max in the next week I think it would reach would be about $1,200, but that's your next level of resistance. So that is platinum, and I've given you my target moving lower. If the bottom falls out of platinum, not that I think that is going to happen, but if we do, you can just pause this video and you've got my targets moving lower in the longer term if we're in a bear market in platinum, but I don't think we are. Palladium, where are we? Still kind of just consolidating at the moment. We're just in a consolidation through time. Nothing really huge to say. We haven't broken through a level either way. Take a look at this on the weekly. On the weekly, we're starting to head down towards oversold territory. We're not there yet. So just in this range of, around about 2,500 to 2,180. So we're just range bound at the moment. Nothing left to say. I've got my targets moving lower and I've got my targets moving higher. So you can just pause this video to see where my targets are, both moving lower, moving higher. Yep, nothing really to say about that except look at a little spike down. Could that be a good little buying opportunity? Quite possibly, but I'm going to leave it at that for platinum. Really, not much to say. If you can probably tell that yourself. Just range bound right now. YouTube.com. You know what you're going to do. YouTube.com/Bullion Now. Hit the big red subscribe button. Head over to the store. Lots more that we're always adding to the website. More in gold, more in silver coming. I think we may. Do we have any platinum available? Do we? Is a good question. Look at that. We have some platinum available. Interesting. And of course, we've got platinum as part of our unallocated program. If you haven't checked out the unallocated program, you really need to. It's a great way. It's a great saving tool if you're wanting to save a little bit each week or each month in gold because you don't have enough to buy, 1 ounce of gold or 1 ounce of platinum, for example. You can just buy 1 gram of gold, just save up over time, and then later on you can choose. You can sell it back to us for cash, or you can redeem it for, something on the website, and then you just pay the difference between spot price at the time and the regular retail price that we would normally charge, so the premium. So you just pay the premium on top. But if you want a full explanation of how the unallocated program works, head over to our playlists section on the YouTube channel, and it's this one right here, view full playlist unallocated program, buy gold and silver at spot price, but that also includes platinum as well. You can buy platinum at spot with us. Palladium you can't yet at the moment, and rhodium you can't at the moment. We're working on palladium, but for the moment definitely can get some platinum too. All right, I've rambled long enough. I will see you next Monday for another hopefully awesome price analysis. Take care, and we'll speak to you soon.